Ambarish sir.
Hi, hi everyone. Sorry, there was a network issue. Yeah, hi everyone. Welcome to SIM Intelligence. I am Vishnuvardhan Chandapatla, and today we are going to have a threat hunting session. And I see I'm just watching so many people of my previous session, guys. So Ambarisha, Rutu, there are so many people which are already was my previous people. I mean previous trainees. So I'm really so glad to be here along with them. Yeah, let's start the session without wasting the time. So before going to our starting our session, we'll have a small intro about our SIEM Intelligence, that is our organization. So you can say our organization, SIEM Intelligence, is one of the most trusted. You can consider to be a wait. Sorry. One of the most leading blue teaming and SIEM training provided company based out of India, which offers various range of courses as well as trainings. We used to even provide certifications in information and cyber security. We are one of the fast growing online training security provider company with respect to information security and cyber security. I'm clearly mentioning, I don't know how many of you know, there's a huge and there is a vast difference between the information security and the cyber security, and we deal with the both, right? So we deal with various kinds of SIEM platforms, SOAR platform, security operations center trainings, and also we have highly skilled infosec instructors which holding a wide range of accreditations. Like I am I'm certified in various certifications. Like I have completed more than 15 plus certifications. Moreover, I have not written everything over here, but I have completed more than 15 plus certification in my era. So, and I can say SIM Intelligence is one of the most trusted and reliable training provided, uh, and it provides an unmatched hands-on practical with you can consider to be a training to each individual as well as a corporate worldwide. Our goal is to train, mentor, and support your career with respect to information and cyber security. And our prime motto is to make India more cyber power. Right. So this is a small introduction, small intro about our organization. And again, I welcome you all to SM Intelligence. I am Vishnuvardhan. I have more than 18 years of experience in IT industry and 15 plus years in something like you can consider to be cyber industry. So I completed my multiple masters from various universities. Presently, I'm doing my PhD in cyber forensics and information security from University of Madras. Right? I'm holding so many certification. I am a CSAM CISA from ISACA, Curator Analyst Architect, and CS. You can consider SEC Plus, that is 601, and Network Plus, that is 107. And also, I have more than 6 plus certifications in EC Council, like I am certified ethical hackers and threat incident handler, as well as CTIA from EC Council. Right. So, and before that, into this particular sessions, I was into various areas. I was worked as a system and training and network administrator, and network log analyst, and then I was a SIM security manager, then database data security expert and backup expert into various areas. And later, I become a chief information security analyst with respect to cloud platform on a data center management unit. Right, I do provide these kind of training sessions because of my passion. I'm very passionate towards giving trainings, and since last 4 years, I have been giving this particular trainings with respect to various platforms. Like I was into security plus network plus curator, as well as I'm also a cloud SIEM expert. That is Azure Sentinel. Right. So this is a small intro about myself, and I will be the course instructor for this particular threat hunting course. Right now, when we start talking about threat hunting, so it is what people think is something like it is a kind of making some huge things over here. But if we start thinking about the cyber infrastructure or information security, there used to be a maintenance of three things, that is CIA, right? Confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So to make these three things, equilateral, so these things into an equilateral state, right? So I hope most of the people might know the CIA triggered, right? CIA and CIA. Will it work? It will not work. It will work. Most probably, of course, it's not exactly equilateral, but it's a triangle of equilateral with sustainable confidentiality, integrity as well as availability. If I want to make more of availability, then the loss of confidentiality and integrity will make you something like a greater issue towards your organization, right? So making all these three things into the picture, so there are some things which we need to focus. That is, the first thing is something known as security monitoring, right? Security monitoring. So to monitor this security monitoring, we have various areas. Like I can take. We have basically four areas I can consider to be. There are four areas. If I say the first one is something called data services, right? We consider to be a global admin services like web, file, AD, DNS, DHCP. These are considered to be data services. Then there is something called a data security services. Data security, right? Now, data security all about we can consider your backup server, EDR. You can consider data security something called DLP, and you can say a DRM, data loss prevention, data right management, digital rights management. It comes under your data security. Similar to data, the cyber infrastructure. We are talking here. It is a global picture of information security, right? This is all about your information security, IS. We are talking about cyber security, CS. CS includes most of the time you can consider to be network security, okay, network services first, then you can consider to be a network security, right? Network security. Now in the network services, we have routers, switches, bridges, and all your network kind of picture, all your network element. It will produce so much of data, and we have to configure all these services to provide the network services. Similarly, network security, like we have IPS, IDS, like NGFW, like WAF, UTM, right? There are a lot many other services also there. Just I'm giving like ESS, email security solutions. So we have various stuff over here, right? So managing your ISCS, information security and cyber security, with respect to CIA, the first picture is something like we need to maintain our security monitoring. So to manage this, we are bringing everything logs. What we do? We do management of our log management, right? Log management. So to do this, we have so many things like SIEM, SOAR, like any other activities, right? Now people start monitoring over here, over here. In activities are getting monitored, and it is generating some alerts. So on the monitoring agency, it is creating some alert because of some rules getting triggered, which is actually send it to SOAR for automated response. If this looks, it looks very easy, right? It looks very easy, and this is the idealistic way of approach. So a security monitoring is what? Collecting all logs into one area And SIEM or a SOAR will not a SIEM, security information and event management is a kind of a log analyst and having various capabilities like it will do a elastic search management and having a processing capability, having a grouping, sorting kind of mechanism, and also do some correlation, and it will provide some alerts. So you're getting some alerts, once you got some alert, you need to once you have to alert manage, you need to do alert manage. For this, there is a mechanism called SOAR. SOAR is what? Security, orchestration, and automated response. Of course, it looks very idealistic, right? Now, the question comes, how this SIM gives you alerts. SIM always creates on the basis of generic attacks, generic capabilities, and generic approaches with respect to internet world. Now the question comes, is your organization exclusively looking like an internet? No, right? So you have your customized requirements. You may give different services the way SIM thinks. This is the idealistic scenario. It looks very good if it is happening in a right approach. But when we start understanding this, right, the problem starts here is something like, this method have so many issues. Like the first issue, something like triggering of your alerts. First question comes triggering of your alerts. The first question comes here. Now, there is a requirement of to assess your all events, assessment of your events, and assessment of your log sources or data connectors, right? Once you have these two, you will get what? EOI, that is what called event of interest. Like what you will get? Event of interest. Got it? So assessment of event will give you of log sources and data connector will give you something like event of interest. You will identify the event of interest. Out of that, you will write some queries to identify some threshold alerts, creeper alerts, right? And then something like, or simple alerts. Now again, theoretically it looks very easy, right? But when it comes into the realistic, so you can't identify if you don't know what is TTP. Now what is TTP? Now, who create rules? Those who knows TTP. Now what is TTP? This is actually a MITRE attack framework. Okay, this is the MITRE attack framework. Now the question comes, what is MITRE and what is attack? Of course, framework is a methodology to make your life simple, right? Now what is TTP? This is something like, tactics, techniques, and procedures, right? So when we are start understanding this right, it was look very easy, right? It looks, idealistic. It is very easy, and your life will be more simple because, of course, when the people who sell SIM services and SO services, they always claim my SIM will discover this, my SIM will identify this alert, my SIM will identify this picture, this kind of threats out of the organization. But when you come into the picture in a realistic scenario, your SIM will not do. Actually, you are doing. SIM is again whatever people will say. I've implemented AI, right? People say they might have implemented AI, oh, what happened? AI, ML, they say there's a automation, threat management, everything. But it works on the principle of what you return. What you return. The question comes, what you have written, how you have written, it matters. So who will write? Basically, a threat hunter will write rules. Now the question comes, what you write? People can say, so earlier also, even if I am not a threat hunter, then also I do write a rule. You write a rule for already known attacks. Okay? You write a rule for known attacks because you know the attack and you know the remedial procedure and detection method. Detection method. You write a rule because you have no experience over the period of time. Of course, you are good at your area. You start working on thing over the period of time. You start writing rules. Are you a threat hunter? No, you are a rule writer, or you can say you are writing a rule which has actually written by someone earlier. The the attack is known to you. The remedial action known to you. The detection mechanism is known to you. What you are doing, you are writing a rule. You are writing a rule. Okay, you are very good because you are writing a rule. Writing a rule is also not that so easy, right? It's a very senior people used to do. And a common people or L1 generally don't do these kind of a lead or a L2 senior L2 kind of people used to write the rules. It's not that so easy. I can understand. But the question comes, who is then threat hunter? Threat hunter is actually, if I say, threat hunter is actually don't know what he is doing. I think most of the people know Hindi, right? अंधेरे में तीर मारना कर बोलते ना. And I don't know. I'm not very good at Hindi even. I mean, you can say there's a huge dark, so you can't see anything, but you have to identify your targets. The most important is something like once you don't know where you are going and you have to drive entire your life. It's very difficult, right? You don't know what is your destination, but you keep on moving your life towards the destination. It's a very big task. Similarly, the threat hunters activity is something like that only. You don't know what you want to identify, but exactly, Shubham, what you have written is very right. The threat hunter who writes a rule and tests it, the possible activity or a possible threats for their organization. But the question is, if it is a known attack and a known rule and a known detection mechanism, you are not considered to be a threat hunter actually. You are a rule writer. Okay. A threat hunter is don't know what is actually happening, but the possible, you know, behavioral approach which may not be happened earlier because of this behavioral approach and uncommon activity or unknown activity, or you can consider it a mysterious activity or some suspicious activity. On that basis, after processing something and analyzing with known TTPs, known tactics, techniques, and procedures, and placing into your this area, right? So identifying your TTP is one of the good, and also modifying the TTP according to your organization to identify a new risk or new attack. This is the threat hunter's life. Basically, threat hunter is generally never be appreciated because it's hardly get an output over the period of time, right? It's one of the very challenging task all the time, and it's one of the very most beautiful you can consider to be a competitive life, I can say. And I can consider those who choose these threat hunters, right, activity, and those who do threat hunting activity, right, they consider to be a special compared to others according to my my activity, I can say, right. Let's move on to this particular sessions module. So what I'm going to handle during this particular threat hunting sessions, right? So I do handle around 16 modules, and around 30 hours of session. Okay, 16 modules and 30 of hours of session exclusively related to your threat hunting and what is threat hunting, how we are going to handle this threat hunting in a very good manner. That is what is our approach. Okay. Now let's move on to the syllabus, how I'm going to handle this, right? So we have a total 16 modules and we have total 30 hours of time. So I spend at least 2 hours on each module. Now some are very less, 1 hour a day, 1 hour the small start of the introduction and all that can conclude in an hour. But some sessions takes some modules will take something like 2 to 3 hours, sometimes 4 hours also, right? So I planned already all these 16 modules into very deeper exclusively into I can consider to be a use case based as well as practical approach session. Okay. So in this particular module one, I'll start with a threat hunting. What is actually a threat hunting? How we can consider a threat hunting life is there, and what is the need of threat hunting, right? Yeah, Dheeraj.
Yeah, I have one question. So,
Yeah,
are you going to
please.
cover SIM as well, or only the rules or threat hunting part only?
Okay, so basically threat hunting is an advance to the SIEM, right? So I will use here two different SIEM solutions. One is QRadar, one is Azure Sentinel for handling this threat hunting process. Okay, so basically you people might already know because the basic requirement of this particular session is uh, for this particular activity is something like a minimum requirement of one SIM solution should be understood. Okay.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
either QRadar or Sentinel, right?
that's up to you. It's not mandatory you should know Curadar or Sentinel. But I will show you everything on either Curadar or Sentinel because these are more convenient and very easy to understand the threat hunting process over here. You can implement the same threat hunting process in your whatever, let's say NetWitness, a Datadog, or a Wazoo, whatever the product you are using. The same concept, the same implementation is possible on a whatever your same platform, the same platform is there. The process of approach will be remain same. Okay.
Okay, yeah, got it.
Yeah. There are some few questions are there. I'll handle at the end of this particular, once this particular session is end, then at the end of the Q&A session, I will explain about these things. Okay, no worry. Yeah, we're going to handle what is threat hunting, what is the need of this threat hunting, and as of course, the active defenses mechanism. What is the meaning of ADT? What is the concept of active defense technique? And what are the skills needed for this threat hunting? So, as the question of Dheeraj, so we can say what is the best skills and all. So, you required some basic analytical skills. That's it. You don't require of more and more experience into it. Okay, and we'll go and understand about the benefits and challenges of this particular threat hunting. Of course, how the threat hunting life happens, how you need to handle your various attacks, and how you need to set up your detection mechanism, where you need to identify and what are the different options, right? Then threat hunting methodologies. So there is a process of approach. for threat hunting. What is, every activity we consider to be an assumption of breach. So what is actually an assumption of breach, and all that we are going to understand this particular module. And what is there is something called Kroll Jewel analysis. You can consider to be CJA. What is our vital areas and vital services and vital assets that are, you can consider to be vulnerable assets. What are your vital areas, vital services, and vulnerable assets that we are going to assess during this particular crown jewel analysis, and the patterns and signature. What is mean by threat patterns and threat signatures for an organization? Okay, the role of threat hunting in a cyber security program. Of course, it's a part and parcel of security and risk management. So we will going to understand what is a role of a threat hunting in a real-time organizational security program. Okay. Then there is something called what is the hypothesis methods. There are two methods generally: intelligence awareness and intelligence driven, as well as awareness driven. So these two are the different ways, the way which you are going to hunt a threat. You can consider to be awareness threat, which you have already known. You have a good idea of that particular attacks, but you don't know how to mitigate that and to write a rule. So you are going to go through the way of awareness. And intelligence driven is you have some third party modules like threat intel platform and some IOCs, IOAs, that is your indicators of compromise and indicators of attacks, which is giving some spurious data. Through that you are doing some analytics and doing the threat hunting is considered to be a intelligence driven, that we are going to understand in a very understandable manner. Don't worry. Okay. Then, so prior to understand your threat hunting, we should know the incident life cycle process. What is actually what is incident response and digital forensics? Because we need to do that during the threat hunting, we need to identify, what is actually a process, how you need to identify a process and all, right? So we will go and understand what is a incident handling process, like, uh, detection and analysis, how to do containment, eradication, and recovery process and all, right? That we are going to understand in this particular. So there are two different incident handling processes. There one is NIST based. There is something called Center for Information Security, right? There is something called Center for Information Security, that we are going to address these two. Okay. Excuse me. Dheeraj and Sandhya, please note down your queries. We'll discuss. Okay, right, right. So after that, we are going to understand, what is threat intelligence, right? There is a scope again. What is the difference between a threat hunting and a threat intelligence? Now, the threat intelligence is a method of understanding your would be activities by a you can consider to be a platforms. So we used to have so many platform in the globe. You can consider to be one of the very good is something called OTX, and there is something called Virus Total. There's a MASP, USCert, ISACs. Like there are so many other DHS, that is the Department of Homeland Security, and the Cyber Information Sharing collaboration platforms. So we will discuss this and we will identify this particular, like all these and how to connect all these into MISP kind of stuff, or into your SIM solution, so that you will use this intelligence to drive your threats, right? So that is intelligent drive based threats, that how you are going to manage in your. So this is one of the very big area. We are going to take at least 3 to 4 hours of session for this. Okay. Then assessment, what are the risk assessment, qualitative, quantitative, threat intelligence overview, how to do a threat hunting mindset, how to set up your mindset with respect to threat along with the threat intelligence. Because let's say you are already aware of various attacks, Now, how you can utilize those attacks with a threat intelligence capabilities, right? Using threat intelligence, the hunt threats, right? And simulations. We'll do some simulations, and we'll do some threat hunting and intelligence simulations activities, right? Then in the module 6, we will go into play something like, what is IOC, indicators of compromise, and how to use the IOC editors. There is something called a FireEye solution, which is providing some IOC terminologies, like we will going to create IOCs, IOAs, and we will update our MASP. And there's something called Cybox and taxi and sticks. There are two methods to drive on your intelligence. So we'll understand what is taxi, what is sticks, and how to set up your activities. That we are going to understand in your module 6. Right? During the module 7, now I said the concept of MITRE attack come into the picture, where we are going to understand about what is APT, what is advanced persistent threat. Now, prior to this, what are the other threat actors that are there, that we will also understand. Don't worry. Advanced persistence is the one threat actor, whereas there are, starting from a script kiddie, there are hacktivists, there are so many people are there. So we will discuss about all those things. Then we will discuss about APT, what is advanced persistence, how it will be how it is dangerous to your organization. We'll understand TTP, pyramid of pain, cyber kill chain model, diamond model, MITRE attack framework, all those terminologies that we are going to understand. We'll go by, all these into a very deeper, what is cyber kill chain diamond model, which is most important for our, threat hunting activities, because how an hacker is working and how our defense approach, like MITRE attack, defending attack. There are so many tools are there. We will use those things, right? Now preparing for the hunt, we will go for a hunting processes. We'll set up our lab for hunting. We'll set up some prescribed tools, like we will set up our, you can consider to be forensic tools. We can consider to be a Wireshark tools kind of stuff. Those things that we will set up so that we will understand some hunting processes. Okay. So in the hunting processes, we divided hunting into two types. One is a network-based hunt, one is a host-based hunt. And in the host-based, again, Linux-based hunt, and you can consider to be Windows-based hunt, right? So in the network-based hunt, we are going to understand first what is the network concepts, how the device and communication happens, what are the hunting tools that we use, like you can consider to be TCP dump, or you can consider to be Wireshark, or you can consider to be a any kind of scanning tools, so recon tools, right? So we'll go and understand those things, and we'll start working at, what is a how to tunnel, like, span tree protocol, or or you can go with a, source, how to identify your S flow, J flow, and N flow kind of stuff for data acquisitions, basically, right? Then we will hunt by using, we have some, PCAP files for various traffic identifications, spurious traffic for threat hunt. So instead of watching this threat hunt data into your, net flow data into your, basically, any SIEM or solution, so we use a Wireshark will place a vital role to identify how the traffic, the real-time traffic is going on. We will going to identify the suspicious traffic of ARP, address resolution protocol, ICMP ping protocol, TCP, your connection oriented protocol, DHCP, your dynamic host configuration protocol, and domain name services protocol, and HTTP, your hypertext. There is a web protocols over HTTPS as well as a plain text. And also there are so many web shells how you can hunt during these particular activities. So we'll go one by one into deep of every packet, and I will show you how the 7 layers of details that you are going to understand with respect to each and every traffic, like what that may be any protocol, which is because you are going to work and handle these protocols during the threat hunting life also. And how to identify your DOS, again, DDoS attacks, denial of service, and denial of the distributed denial of service, how FTP traffic works, how your misused protocols, how to identify your misused protocols, port application mismatches. Let's say the port is, let's say that is a web-based port, and but it is showing something like, let's say SMTP based traffic is moving over a mismatched ports. And web shells, there are so many web shells nowadays throwing by using process scripts and all. So we will understand what is a web shell and open, I mean, other threats, various threats. Okay. What is mean by suspicion? How to identify your suspicious domains, URLs, HTTP responses? What are the various responses starting from 2, 3, 4 series 2xx and 3xx and 4xx? Okay, right? And we also identify how the DNS request abnormalities that we can identify. Okay, so this is all about your network-based hunts, which are you can consider to be three parts. Okay, the level as we go ahead, we are going to get a various protocol understandings, right? Similarly, we'll go and understanding about host-based test. Now, what is the endpoint baseline? So, what is a endpoint analysis? What is mean by baseline? How to set up your baseline? And what is mean by tailoring, scoping, and all these things, right? That we are going to understand during this particular endpoint baseline. So over and above whatever it happens, that will get through an EDR kind of stuff, and how to identify those data, how to triage a machine. So all those that we are going to discuss in this particular area. Then what is mean by Windows process, Linux process, file system, registry, and what are the basic hunt tools are available for your host-based threats. That is how you are going to identify your DLP, your DRM, your you can consider to be antivirus, next-gen antivirus, EDR, how it will help you to do this activity, right? Then now we'll go for a malware hunts, right? How to identify your malware hunts, like what is your malware, what is actually a malware classification, all malware delivery methods, how to identify your malware, how the logic bomb is triggered, what is in the Trojan horse, how it is actually pushing the malware into that method. So what is in the phishing concepts, right? Malware evasion techniques, how it is actually suppressed into some task. Detection and analysis tools. What are the possible detection analysis tools like antivirus, EDR, which will help us? And what are the different malware persistent techniques? How malware get persist into the service or a system, that we are going to understand in your module 13, right? Then understanding your various something like file names, hashes, what are the various hash models, irregular services and processes, file system changes, or database read volumes and swells, unexpected patches, to why especially, and what is meaning of a brute force attack. We will do some abnormal activity on brute force attack and a privileged account. We will see all these into very deep. So one activity will give you each and every area that this is a malware, this is swells that we identify, this particular patch has been happened during an abnormal activities and all that we are going to understand, right? Then now, as some of our friends is asked, can we do any SIEM activities? Yes, of course, we'll do some logging into Windows, logging on Linux. We'll discuss about log management concepts, because threat hunter can only understand logs, nothing more than that. He can monitor the traffic, he can hunt in the traffic, of course, when you have a live PCAP. But our prime focus is towards events, right? So how to log your Windows events? What is the different events or event logs are like in application security setup, and your you can consider to be um application security setup as well as system logs. And in the Linux, what are the different logs like cron, like athlog, athpriv logs, kernel logs, cron tab logs, then sys logs. So we are going to understand all these things and all other over and above. There are a lot many other logs that we are going to discuss, right? Similarly, how to forward, what is the rotation capability, how to clear, how to purge your log, what is mean by PowerShell logging, sysmon capabilities, and how to hunt with your PowerShell. And we'll use here it is I said Splunk and ELK. So it is again it's not a big deal if you people are interested, go with a Splunk or a ELK. It's the older versions of that's why it is the the content has replaced with the Curador and you can say latest version of Azure Sentinel because people are nowadays more interested with the with those applications, right? Then at the last, I cannot say it's the last, but we are going to deal with various IDs. We're going to understand at least various around 200 plus Windows because most of the services used works over Windows, right? We'll identify what are the event IDs for these many like event IDs for accounts management creation, group management, OU creation, or you can consider to be group creation, security group creations, password management, or event IDs for password creation, deletion, modification, all those things that we are going to understand, and how to identify your pass the hash changes, what kind of event IDs during those things. For forged characteristics, like how car roasting happens, what is meant by golden tickets and all, what kind of event happens, what kind of silver tickets, what is the meaning of a skeleton ticket management in your Active Directory, what kind of events is generate and all that we are going to understand. RDP for RDP, network based authentication activity, remote desktop protocol. So how to manage this? What kind of event it's identified? What is mean by you can consider to be a direct authentication and indirect authentication in RDP. PS execution, PowerShell execution, what kind of event it is executed again with the PowerShell execution, what is you can consider to be on-premises PowerShell execution, remote execution with a network purge, and what is WMix, schedule task, what is mean how event ID is related to creation, deletion, modification, hijacking of schedule task, and deletion of test schedule task, service creation, same creation, deletion, modification of services by using a system privileges and even say high level and trust based activities. We will identify all these event IDs and understood. Similarly, the default admin shares, C dollar, system dollar, user dollar, how to identify this, what kind of events it generates. So this is the a plan of action towards your threat hunting, where we are going to understand along with this we are going to even understand what is the Linux, what is the different type of logs we have, how to identify various types like critical log, you can consider to be a information log, warn log, error log in your Linux. So we will also going to understand that. Okay. So this is all about the 16 modules having a very good stuff of various hunting techniques. Whether that may be a network hunt, whether that may be a host hunt, that may be suspicious hunt, whether that may be you can consider to be a endpoint hunt or you can say malware hunt. So we will going to understand all this. Even along with this, we also understand mail analysis, which is a part and parcel of this only because I got various people's request towards identifying your phishing mails, analysis of phishing mail and all right. That is also I'm going to cover along with this particular session because as this is one of the most important for a threat hunting activity. Okay. So we also do some threat analysis, identifying the threat, and we'll write the rule for each threat hunt. Okay. Because once we do a threat hunt, then only we can write. And we will identify the rule. We identify the issue, then we identify the rule to detect, we identify to mitigate. Mitigate is, however, not the process of a threat hunter, but detection is our main motto, prime motto behind it. Okay. So this is all about our plan of action towards your threat hunting sessions, right? So just go ahead. It's one of the very beautiful content that we have with respect to industry standards, right? So it is as per the industry standard that we have planned for the sake of the people. Okay, now it's time for Q&A. There are so many queries by various people. First of all, thank you so much for the queries because that means you people are really in a good mood to understand. Yeah, I'll start with Shubham Gade is already seen this. Sukhdev, will you cover MITRE attack and kill chain well in details? Of course, I'll go into very deep. we'll go with all 14 tactics, more than 400 sub techniques, and there are, you can consider to be various so many procedures and detection and mechanism. I will show you the matter attack framework into the deep, and we'll go into each and every tactics how we'll handle. Okay. Yeah, Sandhya.
Hi, sir. First of
Hi.
all, thank you so very much.
Yeah.
This is a very in-depth threat hunting, syllabus that I've ever seen.
Thank you.
Actually, I have 12 years of experience, and in that, out of which 4 years is endpoint response. So, I have few doubts related to this. Things is, I only personally work with endpoint detection and response, which is on Symantec, and right now working on Sentinel-1.
Okay.
But does this threat hunting needs to have SOC experience then only come into threat, or can I, having this EDR 4 years, 4.5 years as experience, can I take this so that it would literally, upgrade my skill as well as upgrade in terms of the career perspective, uh, to become a defensive, analyst, however it is termed as. So that is my thing. How it will help me, in terms of, I know upskilling is best, but in terms of career growth, leaving SOC, I know the basics, but I've not personally worked on SOC team. Um, Excluding the SOC team experience and joining this will help me, or should I actually go as like EDR, then SOC, then threat, like that? How do you see that, sir?
Yeah, very good
As you
question,
worked in
Sandhya.
multiple, I've seen your things which you showed. You worked in various. You've been a knock, you've been a sock, you've been everything. So what you tell for me, sir, how to this ladder is should go one by one, or like I don't know, sir, because everyone are confusing when it comes to detection and response. To become a detection response, you need to be as if like a scientist. I don't know. They they
Yeah.
they actually threat me using threat hunting things.
People
I'm like,
actually threatening you, basically.
yeah, yeah. Literally, as if I need to write lot of code. I'm wondering logs. Where should I write code? Then they told me it's all about your different. I know only SQL, sir. Now they are saying KQL, SQL, XQL. I'm like, oh, so many QLs came up. I am outdated. So
You,
I freaked
yeah.
out. Now IBM Curator has its own query. Sentinel one is asking as SQL now. Then Azure Sentinel has KQL. Arey, kya baat re? What should I learn? Yeah, which query only should I learn? So I got literally, I don't know, sir. All tweeties are running around my head, sir.
Okay. Very good question, Sandhya. It's a really, even I can say, no one has asked me this question right till now. It's a really a very beautiful question to me. I
Sir, I'm
can say,
asking only to you because you have traveled all these paths.
yeah.
I'm not asked this in the previous threat hunting workshops or something else because they confused me. They freaked me out. And I
Okay.
didn't even ask question. I left the sessions. It's the first time I've thought, okay, you will be the right person to at least answer my question, or you will understand my question, sir.
Exactly, I understood. Sandhya, it really a great honor, first of all. If you are really asking me this question, means you have a very good trust. I see. Is Ambarisha is already there. Uh, you know, Ambarisha is one of my previous, trainee. So he said, I am recommended to take Sir Sim training. What he said. So anyway, that doesn't matter. But I would like to say, it's not related to the session. But however, it is it's a very great lesson in my life. So what I found is something like, you go back to, let's say, 2015 till 2015. Have you ever seen the concept of deliberately changing of version? Have you ever seen these many changes? uh
Changes in which are you talking
Versions,
about tools or
no, versions. First of all,
versions of
versions. So let's say I'll give you a good example. I started my life when I was in, when I was around in 2001. I saw Windows XP, and in 2007 also I saw Windows XP, right? The versioning was not happened between these 6 years. Later, the Vista come in 2007 around. Then it is shifted to within 2009. It has shifted to 7. It is then 8. We don't know when the 8 has changed to 8.1, 8.1 to 10, and now in 11. In 11 again, starting from sorry, in 10 itself, 10 from 10 on, so I say 1802, 1804, 19 and 20, 20 H2, 21 H2, 23 H2, now it is 24 H1. These many versions come into the picture, and there are lot many changes in each version if you see. So the scope is totally changing. And along with this, now earlier whenever we listen Linux, we used to know 3 or 4 flavors. How many of you know? Red Hat, like Ubuntu, like SUSE.
I know, sir.
So
Yeah,
some
Linux.
four or
Yeah,
five, some four or
distributions. Yeah.
five, 4 or 5 editions. We never see that. But in Linux there are 20,000 various editions are there. How many of you know? No one knows. So if I start explaining this right, you will get more confused. I don't want to tell this because when I started my career, there was a one SIEM very famous was only Splunk. Okay, and there is something called logarithm come into the picture. Some 4 or 5, maximum of 5 tools were there.
Yeah,
When
ArcSight, logarithm.
yeah
Yeah,
yeah when
yeah.
when I was in 2012, there are only 5 tools of SIEM, no other one other than these 5 tools. Because of this limitation, we have a good control on Splunk. Let's say if you are a Splunk, you got a 10 organizations, okay, you will get a 10 out of any one of organization, you will get this particular job, and you are thinking that you are perfect and you don't have any tension. But now the concern is different. Now you have more than 250 plus SIEM products are there. The worst part is something like everyone has its own DB. So if I'm talking of QRadar, it is using AQL, as you said. If start talking about, let's say, Azure Sentinel, it's using KQL. Like someone is using MySQL, someone is using PostgreSQL, someone is using XYZ SQL. I don't know. Most of the time it is a SQL query. So except KQL or some of the queries, most of the time the queries remain same because you are fetching some data is always selecting, or calling some data. So it's very easy to understand. But still, everyone has its own, like no SQL. When people are start thinking of SQL, people are saying now no SQL. So now query is getting, we are getting so much outdated within a year. If you start working thinking that you know a Sentinel one, by the time the new product come into the picture, EDR with extra quality, that is XDR,
Yes,
right?
sir. Now it came with Copilot, no, sir.
Yeah,
That is
the
trending now.
the now the problem comes is something like people wants money, they want business, they want to change a new products all the times in a go. When I was started, I was very freak of playing with SIM. Now SIM plus source is a common activity now. Now no one is actually working as a SIM expert. People are working as a SIM plus source expert. This is called next gen SIM. Next gen SIM. And all this happens within a span of only 5 years, last 5 years. And these many applications come now, since last, you can consider, let's say, since last 10 years, not 10 years, a very big. If I say last 6 years, you see there are hundreds of products coming to the picture. Every people are saying, and even you see in Azure also, there are lot many product again. Earlier people used to call Azure, now people are using Microsoft Security. Earlier used to Azure Security. The names have been keep on changing because they are claiming that they are changing the product, they are changing the features, they are changing the user interface itself. So people are getting confused. Don't get confused. Now Your concern, as you said, you are a EDR, right? You are a EDR expert. Now, what is EDR? Basically, what you are doing is a threat hunting only. If I tell you, this is what actually threat
Okay.
hunting. In the EDR, you are doing the threat hunting, but you are limiting your EDR to endpoint only.
Okay.
This is what happening over here. You are in the EDR, you are doing the threat hunting only. You are handling sysmon, right? Sysmon activity, process activity, network activity of an endpoint. How the behavior of that particular endpoint you are watching there. But the concern is all about, if you are restricting your life to an EDR, then you will get you are limiting your scope. Now it's time to evolve to a network detection and response. Now you need to know network level hunting capabilities, which you cannot get it directly in EDR, right? So for that you need to evolve into XDR. So it is a parallel life basically. SIEM and SOAR is actually what? It is a SOC environment. Every log is coming. If I say there is a IPS, if I say IPS also network security monitoring team only. The people, those who are managing an IPS, those who are monitoring IPS, their activity is also SOC activity only. But they are only restricting their life to this SOC within to that particular IPS because of its activity, because it's only limited to network activities only, right? Network flow, it is actually monitoring, it is giving some prevention and giving some, it's a kind of quarantine and all. You are working on it and you are identifying something. Whereas what SIM is doing basically, SIMing collaborating all the you are collecting your endpoints. That's what I discussed right over here. We are going to monitor data services, data security, network security, all in a collaborative way into a log management of SIM. So it's my one kind of suggestion to all, including Sandhya. So don't get confusion if you are thinking that And I used to tell a one good example. I hope I think Sandhya, bike, right? How to ride a scooty. I hope you are
Yes, yes, sir.
because you have been working in I thought you are completed your 12 years, means you are a very good rider. I hope so.
Yes, sir. Riding Royal
Yeah.
Enfield Hunter.
Oh my goodness. Then if I give you a BMW bike, will you ride?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Very right,
Mm.
right? If I give you a TVS 50, you can
Yes, sir.
ride.
Yes.
So why you're not telling that, sir, I don't know, I never worked with TVS 50, so I can't handle. Why you're not telling this?
Sir, I don't know. Because of threat only.
Because of threat? No, no, no. I mean to say, so if I'm telling you that will
No,
you able
maybe
to
it's
ride a
because the
BMW? See,
exposure to as you said, I am only constrained to the EDR where I
yeah,
was given only that capability. I was not exposed to host or network based or anything else because there's separate teams working for that separate, and the boundary line you cannot jump there. And even if I
exactly.
want to try, and there comes as a monster, like not like a monster, at least like a something which comes like saying the name of tool. And if you
No, no, no.
have only the tool knowledge, you can know. So
Right.
basically, that's how it has been injected pretty much in
Okay.
all the people's mind, if I'm not wrong. But I'm not sure
Yeah.
about the freshers. But for experience, if you don't know the tool, don't come in. By the time I make you understand tool, it's not my job. So that's how seniors also tell. And by the time I come out for a courses, and they now started advertising Azure Sentinel now more. So
Because
they
so, see,
become
there is
an
a booming
advertisement
aspect, right?
rather than telling me the actuality.
See, the
So
actuality, see, I always tell to the people, don't go what people are advertising, what you want. I always insist people what you want to learn. So, and the process you are coming, right? Threat hunting is a generalized subject where, see, the people, those who are here, most of the people are experienced, I know. And they have their own capabilities, own ways of approach. Like you said, you are EDR expert. So, EDR expert should also know what other kind of attacks are there in the world, right? That's most important. If I tell you, I'll give you a small example. Sorry guys, it's a bit lengthy, but it's one of the beautiful session is going on actually. So I'll let you show you something. So when I'm showing MITRE attack framework, I'll give a small understanding of a MITRE attack so that you can come to know. So there are various kind of attack scenarios are there. See, I'll start off from recognize and end with an impact. In each level of approach, what people thinks. Let's say if I'm start talking about a brute force. Let's say this is a brute force. So in the brute force, there is a password attack and all. What people thinks. And now Sandhya said, okay, sir, I know about this because I saw multiple login failures of a user in a EDR. Isn't it, Sandhya? And
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
you simply say there's a password attack was happened. Now you are claiming that this is related to EDR. Now I can say this is related to an application also. Now the phase of thinking towards an application is most important over here. Not only towards an application. Now I'm talking the same thing into a network level. The attack is happened on a network device with the same thing. Can you discover? You can't discover. That can be only discovered at SIM level because the logs are getting disposed at your, or you can say it is forwarding to your SIM because all logs are getting collected at SIM. Whereas you are very restricted to your endpoint only. Similarly, not only this, when I start talking about a cloud administration command, now what people think this is related to cloud, so cloud should handle. No, when I'm talking about a cloud administration command where I'm creating a user, now it's a part and parcel of a Active Directory or Enter ID or a SAML activity or a OAuth activity, right? So now people think now it's a cloud activity, whether it is a cloud activity or the authentication activity. What should I do? Now, when there's a deployment of container, now when people thinks deployment of container is a part and parcel of container administration, now I'm telling deployment a container towards an application. Now the view towards your container is different, right? Now what people thinks deploymenting of a container. If I'm placing that container for let's say web services, that is a web server now. Whether it is a container or a web application, it is a container as well as a web application, right? So because of these many differences, or you can consider to be a actually these things have been enlarged a lot. That's why we have so many applications in front of us. So we are getting confused what to use, what not to use. Okay. So to overcome that, instead of understanding a tool, of course you need to understand the tool. I'm not claiming that you should understand the tool. You should not. You should understand a tool, but you should know a process approach. This is what the process approach. You take Sentinel one, you take a EDR, you take a CrowdStrike Falcon, you take a Microsoft Defender. Everywhere these particular sporting tactics are plays a vital role to understand for a threat hunting. Okay, so this is a framework is most important to identify your process approach towards the threat hunting. Now you can use the same activity on your IPS analysis, whether that may be UTM analysis, whether it may be a EDR analysis, whether it is a SIM analysis, whether it is a Microsoft Defender services. Got it? So my concern is towards security analysis is whether what kind of tool you are using, it doesn't matter. But what kind of attacks it matters. You have a tool, but you don't know the process approach, then it's a wastage of resources, right? So that's why for an organization, people's process and technology, these plays a vital role. If you have a people, you don't have a right process and a tool, it's a wastage of time. If you have a good tools and the process approach, but people is not there, then wastage of resource. Similarly, people and process is there when the tool is not, then also it is wastage of resources. So it's most important that you should know each and everything over a process. You can consider to be a process structure rather than a tool based. Tool is required, of course. Tool is only to understand how the tool works. Tool has you can learn any tool within a span of let's say a 10 days, max of a 10 days. You go with any tool. If you sit strongly, I can say that tool, you can understand any tool within 10 days. And I have evaluated more than 15 plus tools so far to understand these kind of stuff. And over the period of time, I come to know SIM is nothing. You are collecting logs, you are processing logs, you are getting some output. But the concern is the attacks, how the attacks is happening, how what are the different attacks, what is the process of approach, what is the detect mechanism, what is the mitigation mechanism. This gives you become a security administrator and a security analyst. Got it? So this is a small understanding of this MITRE attack. Okay. So don't worry. All these kind of stuff and all these kind of my expertise will explain you in the sessions. Don't worry about those things. And we'll have a very beautiful session. I'll go into very deep. Whatever your concerns, we are going to cover over there. Don't worry. Okay.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Yeah, the Dheeraj is asking, are you going to cover Sigma or Yara rule as is? Yara rule is not part and parcel of this session. Directly, I'm telling, I'm not going to directly just say Sigma is a part and parcel of this session because rules used to be created on the basis of events. So Sigma will be created. No worry. Okay. Yeah, okay. Hitesh, please contact our admin team. They will provide you a copy of this, and you can go and go to your. You can consider to be a. There is something known as SIM Intelligence website is there. You can go to courses there. The entire syllabus is there. Don't worry, but still we will share. Please contact our admin team for this. Okay. Uh, Ambarisha, thank you so much for recommending SIM training and. Similar. How about WAF, IPS modules, and AWS, any cloud? Ambarisha, I said, mm, everything is remains same. It's all about what kind of attack system. WAF, it's a web application firewall. It's all about related to exclusively web application attacks. It is process oriented towards web application only. It only detects IPS. It detects network detections, network spurious activities. Okay, right? So I'm not claiming again into a specific product. Product will enhance your career. That will only enhance your career. See, that's how people used to say, learn and study, root. If you understand the root properly, then of course, if I give you anything, you can sit, you can learn, you can just simply. If I tell you what is tables, if you know tables perfectly, you can calculate any number, right? If I give you 15 into 15, what is it? 15, 15 it is 225, right? So the 225, how it comes? Now, if you know the tables, the root is perfect, then it's very easy, right? You don't worry. So these are something good stuff that we are going to understand in the sessions. So rather than this, if you have any queries, please. Yeah, Gansham,
Hi, sir.
hi.
So you mentioned that you are going to cover the to create the rules. So it is respect to the SIM or it is respect to the endpoint.
See, basically, threat hunter used to create rules for, let's say, if you are working as a threat hunter in EDR, you have to write a rule for EDR, right? If I tell you, so that's why I said I'll use QRadar and this particular Sentinel to write the rules to make you people understand. Okay. Now, over and above,
Uh,
if you ask me to write any rule, let's say I will take the same rule. I'll give you a small understanding. I'll write one rule in it, at least, sorry. Let's say I'll write a, let's say one rule. Let's say for QRadar I'm writing, let's say, log source is, let's say, antivirus, and event name is virus detector, and virus name is, let's say, win32.bot. So this is a QRadar rule. If you want to merge the same rule into KQL, let's say I will write uh, antivirus pipe where event name is virus detected and, or you can simply also write like this, and virus name is win32.watch. Where again? Where and where? So if I write to the same thing in a SSQL, Splunk, the method select, let's say virus name, comma, event name from antivirus, where virus name is Win32bot. You ask me various another method. So everywhere what I am writing is the only the logic, the the respect language is changing. Okay, right? Here it is AQL, here it is KQL, it is SSQL. You ask me to write any other SQL, right? I will write simply. Because over the period of time I come to know, I know the logic. What is the logic? Antivirus is the last source, event name is the virus detected, and the virus name is Win32bot. Right? Now I'm using KQL step, SSQL structure. That's it. I'm placing last source is antivirus. See, antivirus come. Event name virus detected is come. Virus name is come. Similarly, select antivirus come here. One, one, one. Here virus detector comes. See, virus name and event name. There are some small differences, but here this comes. See,
Got it. Got it, Vishnu.
so
So,
the scope is remain same. The query is remain same because you are asking the same query in a different language. Like if I know Hindi, I speak. Let's say, आपको समझ में आ रहा है? Same चीज. Do you understand? The same thing, the way I'm expressing in a different language, but the queries remain same. Okay, now you have to understand here what actually you have to address a antivirus, you have to address a event detection, and you have to address a Win32 bot. This is your actual logic. Now how you are asking is doesn't matter. Got it?
yes, got it.
Yeah.
So, so I have another question that what is the actual hours of this session is going to
Yeah,
uh,
this is I'm going to cover the sessions of 30 hours, plus or minus 5. I cannot claim, not minus. It's of course I used to add plus only because I always take a lengthier session. Sometimes like today's session, how it is going on. Sometimes it goes, but it generally goes 30 plus 5. And we used to take sessions from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. every day, weekdays, from Monday to Friday. Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
And is there any global certification in the threat hunting available?
Yeah, there is a EC, CTIA is there.
Okay. So
So,
by covering this modules, will it help to crack those certification?
I can say the standard is totally different, but this is exclusively industry standard. It is covering 60% of CTIA, 60%.
Oh,
I cannot assure you 100%. I can surely say 60% it covers, and more or less CTIA related terms and all that I used to provide along with the sessions, no doubt on it. I do provide so much of stuff of CTIA too, because the CTIA will only help you out during these particular sessions. Okay.
okay. Thanks,
Yeah.
Vishnu. Got
Thank
it.
you, Ganesh. Yeah.
So
Any other?
does
Yeah.
this certificate by SIEM is recognized globally, or
Which
at
one?
least industrial? The SIEM certificate, I'm sorry, the certificate which been provided by SIEM intelligence
Of course,
is
even you will get CPE credits also.
okay.
You will get some 30 to 40, I hope. Between 30 to 40, you will get CPE points too. Continuous progress evaluations. These particular points you can redeem into ISC Square global areas, ISC Square. Most of the EC Council you can redeem. You can redeem in most of the organizations to produce as your CPE credits.
Okay.
Yeah, and it is validated. The certificate is validated. If you are asking for any validation, you can give the details into the team. You can validate the certification. You can tell the industry concerned people like organization to validate it at our organization. That is also happens. No doubt on it.
Okay.
Yeah. And please contact this 77371 This is our management team. They will be always available. Please, if you have any queries, contact these. You can mail us on these two mail IDs too. And please go ahead with the sessions. It's very beautiful, and you will have a continuous scope over here, right? And we are also I'm also providing this one for queries. Please contact the management team. I have given the WhatsApp number, and also please visit for any requirement about SIEM intelligence details and courses details and all. You can see the courses certifications over here. You can go ahead and you can go through this. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. It's yeah. Just as I said, CTIA, CHT, CTHP, all the part and parcel of same method. It's you can get is a 60% of these two. The content is almost related to this only. Okay, Lodi. So guys, yeah, offers which SIM trainings we do provide. So see, we are basically SIM provider company, right? So we do provide all the SIM trainings. We are you contact our team, so they will tell you what are the SIM trainings that you required, right? We do provide all the trainings of SIM, so you just contact us. So where and you can also see the this. Calendar where you can see the latest any sessions are going to plan and all, and you can see here. Okay, right? Got it. So this will be start from 25th. I mean the start date is 25th, right? So you can see. Right? You can go ahead with this. Okay. Yeah, guys, thank you so much. It's a very beautiful session, and it's really amazing. And please do join. And it's one of the beautiful organization that you will get, and you will get it so much of options to understand and all. Right. Thank you so much. That's all from my side.
Thank you, Vishnu.
Bye bye.